Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The 5 best punters in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Football fans can't help but roll their eyes when the punt unit comes out. While punt returns are one of the most exciting plays in the sport, it means the offense squandered an opportunity to put points on the board. It's the offense's version of waving of the white flag and living to fight another down. The Dallas Cowboys know all too well that a punt can turn a game on its head. With elite return specialists like Deion Sanders, Mel Renfro, and Bob Hayes, the Cowboys have had no shortage of moments during punts that have completely altered the momentum of a game. On the flip side, having a strong punter is a valuable weapon. It can help a team win the all-important field possession battle and pin opponents deep inside their own territory. It may not be as inviting as a top 20 wide receivers list, but these punters deserve proper recognition. Criteria for selection. Comparing and contrasting punters is very straightforward because there are only so many statistics and accolades to consider. The job of a punter is very simple, not that it isn't difficult. Their job and overall success also hinges on the play of their blockers and gunners bringing down the returner. Receiving Pro Bowl and All-Pro nods is not easy for punters, so that weighed heavily. Additionally, length of tenure mattered a great deal, as punters who enjoyed a lengthy run with the Cowboys will rank higher than someone who may have been more efficient and more talented. The top 5 punters in Dallas Cowboys history. 5. Toby Gowan. The number 5 spot is a perfect match for Gowan, who is 5th in Cowboys history in punt attempts, 338, total punt yardage, 14,099, and punts downed inside an opponent's 20-yard line, 106. Gowan joined the Cowboys in the post-dynasty era in 1997. The team was very much in a transition period on offense as Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin neared the end of their Hall of Fame careers, so Gowan had a substantial workload as the punter. The North Texas product actually had 2 separate stints with Dallas. He returned to his former team in 2003 as a free agent following his initial 3-year run from 1997 to 1999. 4. Mike Saxon. Saxon punted for the Cowboys for 8 seasons, so it makes sense that he ranks prominently in the record books. An 11th-round pick of the Lions, Saxon is 2nd in franchise history in total punts, but 1st in total punt yardage. While Saxon compiled lofty stats, he wasn't that efficient of a punter. He's 11th all-time in net yards per punt and 17th with 40.2 yards per punt. Saxon is also 4th in punts downed inside the 20 despite being 2nd in team history in punt attempts. Saxon's stats are undeniable and he won a Super Bowl as the Cowboys punter. That's more than enough to earn him the number 4 spot. 3. Chris Jones. Not to be confused with the Chiefs' all-word defensive lineman, Chris Jones never got the recognition he deserved even though his Cowboys tenure was very successful. The former undrafted free agent had the Cowboys punting job for a decade and spent his entire career in Dallas. He's 4th in franchise history in punt yards, 3rd in net yards per punt and 1st in punts downed inside an opponent's 20-yard line, which is a testament to his deadly accuracy. Jones also averaged 44.5 yards per punt in his career. He never made a Pro Bowl, but he was perennially a top 10 punter in the game. 2. Matt McBriar. McBriar is credited with revolutionized the punting game. His ability to bounce the ball sideways spearheaded the placement punting movement. Not only was McBriar a marksman, but he had a cannon of a right-left. He led the NFL in yards per punt in 2006 and 2010 and was a Pro Bowler both seasons. McBriar was the best punter in the NFL throughout his 8 years with the Cowboys. He's 3rd in team history with 2,236 punting yards and 38.1 net yards per punt, as well as 2nd with 175 punts inside an opponent's 20-yard line. Odds are McBriar would have some Cowboys punting records all to himself if he didn't suffer a fractured foot in 2008 on a blocked punt that ended his season after 6 games. 1. Danny White. Danny White is one of the coolest stories in NFL history as he doubled as the Cowboys' starting quarterback and first-choice punter. Not only does White rank top 5 in franchise history in passing yards and passing touchdowns, but he also has the most punts and most punt yardage. A former third-round pick, White never led the league in punting, but he averaged over 40 yards per boot, and only 3 Cowboys have more punts down inside an opponent's 20-yard line. Throw in the fact that he made a Pro Bowl and won Super Bowl 12 with the Cowboys, and White is clearly the best punter in team history. Every year, there are standouts at each team's training camp who have fans convinced of a special future. It has happened time and time again with the LA Chargers, and even more so with a prominent team like the Dallas Cowboys. On special occasions, a player can become a training camp standout for 2 different teams, convincing their new team of all these lovely possibilities they failed to live up to with their former team. That is what is happening now with former Chargers wideout, Tyron Billy Johnson. Billy Johnson got his start in the NFL with the Chargers in 2020 and was a valuable deep ball threat for Justin Herbert, who hauled in just under 400 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. After a solid training camp the following year, Chargers fans were devastated when former head coach Brandon Staley cut him from the 53-man roster. Time proved that to be the right decision, as Billy Johnson hasn't done anything in the NFL since then and has bounced around from team to team. Now he finds himself back in Southern California at Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, and the hope has been reignited. Just like he was with the Chargers, Billy Johnson has turned into a training camp star for the Cowboys. Billy Johnson has become a talking point during Cowboys training camp as he has turned in impressive tape thus far. But as Chargers fans know all too well, this impressive tape does not mean anything in relation to how he will play in 2024. Dallas is the 6th team Billy Johnson has joined since being cut by the Chargers, but despite that, he has only played 15 games. In those 15 games, Billy Johnson has hauled in a less than impressive 3 receptions for 24 yards. Billy Johnson has the perfect recipe for success during training camp when play is not as physical. He is long, fast, and can make routine catches when he takes the top off of a defense in a one-on-one assignment. But when you add physicality against a true first-team defense, the story changes. Chargers fans are the most educated on this phenomenon, so it is only fair they warn Cowboys fans about what is coming. Billy Johnson will look great in training camp. Heck, he might even turn in a preseason showing that makes it seem like he is destined for great things in 2024. But at the end of the day, he is not going to be someone who makes much of a difference, if any, on the Cowboys, or any team, for that matter, in 2024. If the Cowboys are in a position where they need Billy Johnson to produce, that says more about the team than it does the player. Carl Lawson posted a cryptic message on social media that suggests he's interested in signing with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are in need of a pass rusher after third-year defensive end Sam Williams went down with a torn ACL in training camp. Shortly after the news, Lawson dropped a 1-emoji tweet of a star. Lawson, a former 4th-round pick, has played for the Cincinnati Bengals and New York Jets. He has 27 career sacks in 31 starts and 28 tackles for loss. Lawson's best year came as a rookie with the Bengals when he managed 8.5 sacks. More recently, he had 7 sacks with the Jets in 2022 but only suited up for 6 games last season. He expressed his frustration with his lack of snaps. "I've always wanted to be the best version of myself for the team. But at the end of the day, I do want to be a football player, I do want to produce, and I do want to help, because I'm a football player, not a cheerleader, so that's kind of where my head is at with that," Lawson said last season. If the Cowboys are looking for a veteran, cheap fill-in, Lawson would be the call to make. He's eager to contribute and would be able to do so alongside Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Cowboys had big plans for Sam Williams. Williams was the Cowboys' second-round pick in 2022. He quickly earned a spot in the rotation and has been a key contributor. Williams has 8.5 sacks over the last 2 seasons and has played about a third of the snaps on the defensive side of the ball. That was expected to go up this year following the departures of Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler. "We had big plans for him," Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer said on Monday, July 29. "He was going to play an awful lot, probably, I'm guessing, 70 to 75% of the time. We'll just have to move some chess pieces around and try to figure out other ways to do things. With us moving Micah Parsons around a little bit, Williams was going to be out there with Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Cowboys rookie Marshawn Kneeland will play a lot. If the Cowboys decide not to sign a veteran, a bigger load would fall on rookie Marshawn Kneeland. Kneeland was selected in the second round, number 56 overall, this year. During his college career at Western Michigan, he had 148 tackles and 13 sacks. The Cowboys saw a lot of Lawrence and Kneeland when they decided to draft him. We've talked about it before, as hard as D-Law, DeMarcus Lawrence, played at Boise State, there are some similarities there. That is what we thought about him," Cowboys VP of Player Personnel Will McClay said after selecting Kneeland in April. "So far, the rookie has made a good impression in camp." Zimmer assured he'd have a role with Williams out of the picture. "Marshawn Kneeland has done a really nice job," said Zimmer. "He would have played anyway, but I think he's going to end up having to play a lot now." The Cowboys open the season on September 8 against the Cleveland Browns.